with our next front to enter by the weekend. It's going to bring a chance for some showers, even a few thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday. I think we'll stay dry all day Saturday, but could see some showers and a few thunderstorms in the forecast for that day on Sunday. 87 for today. Nice warm day ahead. Tonight we'll get down to 65. Here is a look at that extended forecast. Temperatures that get into the 90s tomorrow, followed by an unsettled week next week.
All right, it's Friday, so it means we get to take a look at what's going on at the movies. Michael Cook is here to tell us about Rocketman and Ma.
Yes, let's talk about Rocketman first. This is the Elton John biopic. He was heavily involved in this movie. There you see Taron Egerton plays Elton John throughout the course of his life. Like all, biopics, it always can be a kind of a paint by numbers in terms of, here we start off with, we see him first as a boy and then as a young man trying to make it in the music world. He teams up with Bernie Taupin and they start making these amazing hits. And of course, like all rock stars, you see his, ascent to stardom, and then of course the almost cliche in terms of getting involved in drugs and other things you shouldn't be doing. But this is, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. To me, first of all, I bought Taron as Elton John right from the very beginning. You forget how many just major hits that Elton John had in the 70s and 80s, and how he just dominated the pop cultural landscape for decades. And I enjoyed also it does go through Elton John's struggle with his identity, and that he was gay but had to be in the closet in that time because it would have been a career killer, and how he struggled with that both internally and with his family. So I appreciated that. So this is from the same director who did Bohemian Rhapsody last year. So there's some of the same beats in that movie that are in this movie as well. Although this one is more of a musical, because at times the characters will be talking and then all of a sudden they'll break out into song like a musical. And for me, that worked. At times you find yourself singing along to Benny and the Jets or other hits that we all know from Elton John. So all in all, I really enjoyed this movie, which is why I give it 8.5 out of 10.
Wow.
So I bet you'll probably get some Oscar nomination for costume design and other things like that.
So it wasn't so much paint by the numbers, was it?
No, well, all biopics kind of have to be, because we all, you're born, you live, you die. I mean, it's kind of
a formula.
There's always a formula no matter what you do, but this one I think still worked for me. The next one to talk about is called Ma, that stars Octavia Spenser. Octavia Spenser, here at the beginning, you see a young woman. She moved to a small town with her mom. She, becomes friends with other high schoolers, and of course, unfortunately, like a lot of teenagers, they want to buy alcohol, and so they find Octavia Spenser, who agrees to buy them alcohol. Well, she says, why don't you come to my place and you can drink in my basement? And these teenagers sort of, sillily take her up on this offer. And they come to find that for a while, it's fun to hang out at Ma's. That's the nickname they give her. They hang out in her basement. A lot of times she'll buy them alcohol, and it sort of turns into party central for these kids. But then as it goes on, you kind of learn that Ma is just a little off, a little not all there. And she, first of all, an adult buying alcohol for kids just wrong, but then inviting him to her house to party is even, and buying him alcohol for teenagers is even more wrong. And as the movie goes on, you see there's a backstory there that she actually knew some of these kids' parents back in the day, and there's the flashbacks make you feel a little sympathy for Ma, even though she is just crazy as all get out. It is a horror movie as she descends into madness, gets more and more crazy. There you can kind of see her rule is you can't go upstairs. Was the rule at Ma's house, as you saw in that scene right there. And so the problem, though, unfortunately, the pacing is off. In the second act, it just gets kind of boring when they realize that Ma's just kind of weird, and so the horror flick part really doesn't kick in until the last part of the third act. Octavia Spenser, though, to me, makes this a somewhat enjoyable film, because it looks like she's having a ball playing this crazy, just out of her mind character, and it worked for me in that regard. Now, if it had been another actress in that role, this movie might have been very forgettable, but because of her, I did enjoy the movie to a certain extent. Again, there's problems with it. Some of the pacing is off, and it's not quite as, if you like horror movies, not quite as scary as you'd want it to be. So all in all, I give it a 7 out of 10.
That's not bad, though.
It's not bad, again, but it's because of Octavia Spenser and her role and her just really going for it.
So if you don't want it to be horror, it's still okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big horror fan, so it didn't really scare me that much. So it's not, if that's what you're wanting, this is not the film for you. So
gotcha.
Like just put your toe in the middle
exactly, kind of put your toe in the water, kind of scary. So you have two different choices to see this weekend. Just depends if you want to see Rocketman, which I thoroughly enjoyed, or Ma, which is a slight horror film thriller.
Both good options.
Two good options.
For a hot day and then...
For a hot day, nice air-conditioned theater.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back.